The following is intended for mature audiences only. It contains adult themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Western media has a very poor relationship with black females. While it often celebrates deceased black women and their struggles against historical racism, modern-day black women find themselves often vilified and marginalised by the press and the media when they try to stand up to modern-day racism and injustices. The British media often use adjectives to describe black females that they would normally only use to describe white female serial killers. This creates the narration the lowest of the low amongst white females is your typical black female. So we are going to investigate how this ideology and narrative translates to reality TV.
Breaking a reality TV NDA. Racism and stereotyping in reality TV.
Since white men met black women, the relationship has been one-sided and horrific. There has never been a period where we've had equality. So what happened in history to turn the victims into modern-day TV villains? Well, absolutely nothing happened. The ones in charge control how the public see them, but more importantly, how the public see other people. White privilege doesn't mean that you have lots of money. It means that you have unchecked power to create the narrative for somebody else, as if you were their appointee, and people will take what you say to be true. Black females on reality TV are merely given the narrative that the white male producers want us to have, knowing full well that the audience is going to believe everything they say. Contrary to what people who control the narration in the 21st century want you to believe, there has never been an apology to black women. And because there was never any formal apology, the reasons behind slavery were never addressed. So how the media and entertainment dealt with us was through ridicule.
It's like while my Alabama mammy plays bridge all night, way down south in Dixie, swinging low, sweet chariot. Come on, come on, come on, carry me home.
Early media and entertainment found it much easier to ridicule black women than chastise them for not having a sense of humour than to address real serious problems. You don't have to apologise to something if it's not human. So it was just easier for the entertainment industry and the media to view black women as not being human. So no guilt, no apology.
Just hold on and suck in.
Mammy, here's for Scarlett's victuals.
You can take that all back to the kitchen. I won't need to buy it.
Oh, yes, you is. You's going to eat every mouthful of this.
Oh, I'm not.
These portrayals are more insidious than you think. Firstly, you do not know anything about the black females apart from their slaves, and they're happy to serve very selfish white people. Secondly, it's media and entertainment telling the world we can coexist, but only under these circumstances. Never equals. One superior, one inferior. So what about life now and my relationship with white males in the UK? By default, The majority of my role models have been white males. However, there are these unspoken rules where they tell me about their lives, give me advice. However, I'm supposed to go down a different pathway, as positive white male behaviour is often seen as negative and selfish in black females.
The UK media still do not see black females as humans in their own right, they are still appendages.
Be sassy. Give opinions. But don't make decisions of any significant importance. Put others before yourself and live for their approval.
The UK media is hypocritical because while they preach equality, they still want black women to be self-imposed slaves. And the more you deviate from that mammy image, the more they will dislike you. Moreover, they will influence other people to dislike you as well. So again, engineering what a black woman should actually be. If you were from another planet and you watched UK reality TV, you would truly believe there was a time in history where black women totally terrorized the whole country. The narrative that white male producers and some female producers give black women is solely out of spite. Because you can't dominate that person, because you can't control their narrative in everyday life, you are going to control it on the screen.
Exploitation of the most vulnerable.
While reality TV shows don't mind portraying black females as if we've come from maximum high security prisons, they don't actually want us to come from those places, so they check in good time before you are even alone with members of staff. I can't do this all by myself, so I clearly need some help.
Made a lot of wild accusations about you, about your operation.
Look at me. I am kind. I am smart. I am important, most of all I'm white.
We must actively recruit black and POCs.
Let's not actively recruit black females in mainstream media production. It is a courtesy invite only. If they turn up they can go whistle.
UK reality TV production teams tend to be dozens of white women and a few powerful white men.
Breaking a reality TV NDA. My experience on a reality TV show.
I appeared on reality TV in the UK. 100% of the staff were white and they wrote my storyline. Again, that's producer engineering and manipulation, because in front of the camera you had quite a lot of black people giving opinions. So that gave you the impression it was a multicultural show. But in reality, white production was still running the scenes. My audition process was like walking through a loaf of bland, white sliced bread. Each slice was the same as the first. not even the sight of a whole grain, a piece of bran, a rice seed to make it interesting.
In my contract it stated material containing me may be altered, modified, edited, cut, rearranged, adapted, dubbed, and revised.
The Big Brother contract says, I do not hold producers liable for intentional or negligent infliction of emotional distress or defamation. I can lie about you.
Reading Big Brother press releases and speaking to tabloid journalists, my arch enemies, my storyline was the villain. Surprise, surprise. However, it was the villain with a twist. I was the educated savage. So beneath the education, I was still a savage, not fit to be in the company of fine white people. After 7 days, the production still refused to give me access to my suitcase, so I was surviving with just the clothes on my back. They also took away my medication, so I had to wait 90 minutes to 6.5 hours for one tablet. So I had enough and I quit. However, this is not the storyline the producers had taken weeks to create for me, so they had to create an alternative reason for me not being in the show. On a side note, the production did offer me a session with a psychologist because I wanted to leave. However, I refused the psychologist because I thought that he enabled the production to exploit Shabazz for entertainment. The psychologist later went on to say I shouldn't have complained about him because I refused his treatment. However, I refused his treatment because he was so awful. I hate to burst your bubble, but the code never existed and only existed on the screen. Once the camera stopped rolling, the production never talked about it at all because it was their creation. It was a way to explain my departure, keeping to the villain edit they had assigned to me. If I had asked to leave after getting a secret message, they would have happily shown you that video. However, it doesn't exist. What does exist is me asking to leave over my suitcase, my medication and Shabazz. And that's an hour-long video. So instead of showing you what occurred because they couldn't, they had to tell people what occurred. Once the camera stopped rolling, the very first thing they spoke about was Shabazz's mental health.
She asked to leave after she had a message. I can't show you the video. Even though I say we film everything, just accept it as the truth.
I did manage to get an edited video of myself asking to leave, and I sent it to a few members of the press. However, the press related more to Phil Edgar Jones than they did to me and told me to let it go like Elsa. Some members of the media even tried to suggest that being a villain made you more interesting, when in fact being a villain and being black made you more hated.
She asked to leave after not winning her suitcase back on the show. She remained on set and at Elstree for a further 20+ hours as we were making arrangements for her departure. In the Big Brother contract it states if you ask to leave early it can take up to 24 hours before it may be possible to do so. We did not detain her. It was her contractual obligation.
What disturbed me as a black female and made me give up on British media was the eagerness and the readiness to lynch me based on the words of white people. That showed me we haven't got very far, because there was not two sides to the story. There was only one side, which was a white side. When they were presented with conflicting information, which I later provided, they didn't want to go with it, and they couldn't say sorry, and they didn't feel guilty. Instead, they gave me scenarios. So while they professed they weren't racist, they were judging my experience not as a human, but as a black female. So anything better than slavery was good treatment. A lot of media people believe they have a free pass to hate black women, because if we were in Africa, we would be dead or dying. So being in the UK is a privilege for us, and no matter what they do to us, it can't be worse than death. This means while I can be hated for wrongdoings or perceived wrongdoings, other people are not held accountable if they treat me badly, because somewhere in the world I would have a worse time. From my experience with British media, including the Big Brother production team, I realise that they don't say sorry to black women. Instead, they give us scenarios where things could be much worse for us, so we should be grateful for any interaction we have with them.
Look at me. I am kind. I am smart. I am important, most of all I'm white.
Broadcasters and producers have used their platform to make the public believe their behavior is normal, ethical and acceptable. Chronic mental health issues are inevitable, even for people with no existing conditions. It's reckless from start to finish.